Okay, so we're going to just introduce what percentages are first. And so we'll do that. We're just using a shape, like the way that basically the easiest way to understand percentages is to first think about it as fractions. So if we say this whole thing here is a whole, well, it's a whole thing. So this is like whatever, a cake or chocolate bar, whatever you want, and we can divide that into two. So I'm just going to pause the video and do that. Okay, so now we have it in two parts. Okay, so each part is a half. Now let's divide it in each part in two again. Right, so now I've chopped it into 4 bits, so each part is a quarter. So what is a percentage, or what do percentages mean? Well, 100%, 100% essentially means one, or a whole. Okay, so the whole thing. Like, what percentage of this cake do we have at the moment? We have 100% of it. We have all of it. Okay, so 50% of it would be half of that, right? So therefore 50% would be a half, because 50% is half of 100%. So that would be 50%. Okay, and so 25%. Oh, this is really annoying when that happens. Okay, 25% is half of this one. Okay, so so basically, if that is 50%, then that must be 25%. And so we can see 25% is a quarter, and so on and so forth. So what would 1% be? Well, 1% is actually 100% divided by 100, isn't it? And so if 100% is 1, then 1% must be 100th. So really, what I want you to, the most useful thing when you think about percentages, is that 1%, just imagine it says 100th. And then if we've got like a percentage and we want to turn it into a fraction, like 25%, well, 25% means 25 over 100. And we've worked with fractions before, so we know how to simplify this. We divide the top and the bottom, and if you realize that 100 can be divided by 25, you'll see that the bottom number becomes 4, and 25 divided by 25 is 1. But that's fine. If you didn't notice that, then what you can do instead is you can see, well, the top number can be divided by 5, and that gives me 5. And the bottom number can be divided by 5 also, so that gives me that. And from here, you can say, oh, 20 can also be divided by 5. So I can divide by 5 again, that gives me 4. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So either way, you can do it the quick way, or you can do it bit by bit, and you get to the answer. And as you can see, that is correct. 25% is that. But you might have some different ones. For example, 18%. 18%. What is 18% as a fraction? Well, it's going to be 18 over 100. And then we're going to simplify. Well, looking at it, the only thing that I can see is that both numbers can be divided by 2. So let's do that. The top number divided by 2 is 9. The bottom number divided by 2 is 50. So that is actually as simple as it gets. So that is the fraction. So this is turning percentages into fractions. And we'll do a little bit of practice at that. The other thing I want to talk about is the percentages of numbers. So let's go back to my cake example. Okay, let's get that lined up properly. Right. So that's my whole cake chopped into 4 bits. We know that we've just seen that each bit is 25%. Let's imagine that the whole cake, so whole cake, let's imagine it weighs 500 grams. They might say, well, what does one slice of it weigh? What does this weigh? Well, if it's if it's 1/4 of it, we can just say it's 500 divided by 4. That'd be easy. That'd give us the answer. But if it's a more awkward number, then what you want to do instead is you want to work it out like this. So 25% of 500 is equal to 25 times 500, and then we're going to divide by 100. Now, why does that work? Well, because it's because we know that 25% means 25 over 100, and we times that by 500. So in a way, you can say it's a fraction of an amount rather than a percentage of amount. And we've done fractions of amounts before. So 25 divided by 100 is 0.25 if I do it on my calculator. Times that by 500. What do I get? I get 125 grams. So we'll do a little bit of practice at that as well. Remember, we're always having to divide it by 100. Sometimes you're going to get something like, 1.25%. What is that as a fraction? It's just 1.25 divided by 100 again. You don't normally write a decimal on top of a fraction, but we're going to make an exception in this case when we're just trying to look at how to do the maths with percentages. So that's what we're going to have a go at today. We're going to do percentages of amounts, and we're going to do percentages changing them into fractions. And then I've set you some work on Cognito to have a go at yourself. All right.